The Roman Catholic Archbishop in Trinidad and Tobago says homosexuality should not be illegal. And in sport, Jamaica's netballers win another bronze at the Commonwealth Games. I'm Ricardo Roberts, and this is Caribbean in 10 for Monday, April 16th. I'll be back with the details after the break.
Caribbean Passport celebrates growth in the tourism sector, with Barbados winning the title of Best Destination in 2017. Grenada promoting Spice Mass. Trinidad and Tobago talks digital transformation, and Antigua and Barbuda heads into their sailing week. This and more coming up next on this station.
Welcome to Cascade Pool. And at this point, we're just around 160 feet below the surface. But our experience doesn't end here. Take a look to the far grounds. We actually navigate beyond this pool, following this water as our system expands even further. Tony and Ole would have experienced a further couple hundred feet beyond here.
Archbishop of Port of Spain, Jason Gordon, says the Roman Catholic Church does not believe that buggery should be criminalized. He stressed the Church's position following a ruling by the High Court last Thursday in which Justice Devendra Rampersad deemed the sodomy law unconstitutional. The ruling came in a 2-year legal battle brought by Trinidad-born gay activist Jason Jones. Gordon said the position of the Church that buggery should not be criminalized is not a flippant teaching of the Church, but one that came after a lot of reflection. He said the Church views homosexuality as a moral issue and not a criminal one. Gordon said, quote, "There is no question in the Church's mind or teaching that this is an act that is immoral, disordered, one would even say that a sin against nature. Buggery or the homosexual act is a disordered act, is a frustrated act. It is an act that is not in keeping with the intention of God for human sexuality," end quote. He stressed that it did not mean that homosexuality should be illegal. Well, not all religious leaders agree, and the political leader of the Movement of Social Justice, David Abdullah, says those who don't need to tone down their venom. He spoke with Jewel Brown of TV6 about the issue yesterday.
Jesus, of course, had Mary Magdalene very close to him and forgave many persons who were deemed to be sinners. So I think that we need to tone down the rhetoric, tone down the whole environment, and engage in a process of openness and tolerance and listening and respect one for the other.
But we had asked Mr. Abdullah, what is the MSJ's take on this particular issue?
Yeah, we'll be having our party meeting on Sunday, a week from today, and we'll have a formal position on the whole issue at that time. Let me say, and our Youth for Social Justice actually is probably going to issue a statement even before that, because they have drafted a statement because the young people are involved in this particular matter.
Mr. Abdullah said that as his party stands for justice, quote, "we cannot be creating an environment of anger and hate against any citizen of Trinidad and Tobago," end quote. As for the opposition leader's position that the issue of gay rights should be resolved by way of a referendum, do you think that is the best way to address the issue?
Not necessarily, but let me just make the point that the opposition leader really has little moral authority to say what ought to be done, because a lot of those things were supposed to be done when she was Prime Minister.
Britain's Prime Minister Theresa May will meet with CARICOM leaders to discuss the problems faced by undocumented Caribbean immigrants in the United Kingdom, including the denial of access to critical services. Now, according to a statement from the Barbados Government Information Service, an action plan to secure a permanent solution to the situation could be high on the agenda at the April 19th to 20th Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in London. Britain had initially rejected a formal diplomatic request from the 12 of countries which are in London for the Commonwealth meeting this week, but there was a change of heart following the publication of a letter sent to Prime Minister May and signed by more than 140 legislators from across the political spectrum, which expressed concern about the many long-term British residents who have been incorrectly identified as illegal immigrants. Downing Street said May confirmed she would be holding a meeting at the earliest possible opportunity with the Caribbean leaders. Haitian teachers returned to their classrooms today, 2 months after embarking on industrial action. The resumption of duties by teachers from the Fundamental School of Application and Pedagogical Support Center of Pitiguave ends a prolonged stand for better working conditions and unpaid salaries. But the teachers say their presence in the classroom should not be interpreted that the crisis at the school has been resolved. They say the school faces other problems and they doubt very much that it can function normally. One teacher has not been paid for the past 2 years despite being appointed to the post, and there were also cases of teachers having letters of appointment but not yet receiving their salary, while others were who are working but have no letter of appointment. The teachers said their disappointment, they were considered the bad guys when they took their industrial action, but they insisted the Ministry of Education was to blame as it remained deaf and indifferent to their demands. Stay with us, your Midday Sport is next. Welcome back. It's now time for sport. Jamaica's national netballers, the Sunshine Girls, condemned New Zealand to their lowest finish at the Commonwealth Games, brushing them aside 60-55 to collect their second straight bronze medal yesterday. The Jamaicans led 15-11 after the first period and then 29-17 at the half-time break, but fell behind 3 minutes into the third quarter. However, they responded with some inspired defense to draw away with a 46-39 advantage at the end of the penultimate period. The White Ferns came roaring back in the final quarter and came to within with 5 minutes and 12 seconds to play, but the Sunshine Girls held their nerve to pull out a comfortable victory at the Comra Indoor Sports Center. Veteran Romalda Aiken scored 24 goals from her 31 attempts for 77% shooting. Team captain Janelle Fowler-Reid added 21 from 22, and goal attack Shanice Beckford provided valuable support with 15 from 18. The result was tacit consolation for Jamaica following their heartbreaking loss to England in the semi-finals on Saturday. Meanwhile, Tyler Butterfield finished without a medal but broke a near 4-decade-old Bermuda national record in the marathon after coming 12th in the event over the weekend. And we'll get more of that story in our major newscast at 6:30. That's Caribbean in 10. Good afternoon.